Welcome, welcome. Happy Sunday to you. I am so excited today to be able to come and serve you like we do every Sunday and to be able to come and speak with you. I'm Melody, your Pain to Purpose Accelerator. I help women that are tired of perpetual cycles of pain move from a place of pain to purpose by standing on their pain and using their pain as fuel to reach new levels of influence and operating, influencing their families, their communities, their nations, and the world. My story starts, I was born and raised in Zimbabwe, Africa. Please don't hesitate to say hi when you come in, like we do every Sunday. And this is community. We're just sharing and growing together. And I am just excited to be able to serve you. But my story, I stand on my story of I was raised in Zimbabwe, Africa, to a family where we had periods of plenty and we had periods where we didn't have much. But my parents had such vision and they had a mindset, a growth mindset where they raised us to believe we could be anything and become anything we set our minds on. And this was heavily grounded in faith, right? In faith in God. And so I made it to the United States of America, and today I help serve women moving from pain to purpose. I overcame relationship abuse by intimate partners, and I overcame poverty by principles that I help and share with women to help you understand how pain is not a bad thing, but it's actually a process that's needed to get you to the next level. So I'm so excited. I'm so glad that you are here today and that we're going to be digging into this, digging into the pain that's in your life and helping expose it for what it is. In some of the lives, I have discussed how your perception, meaning how you look at your situation, is very important. Because if you look at pain as an obstacle and if you look at it as something that's meant to disarm you, then it will have victory over you. Hi, welcome to the live. Please feel free to just say hi so that I can acknowledge you. But I'm so excited you could join. I had just finished introducing myself as Pain to Purpose Accelerator Melody. I help women overcome perpetual cycles of pain. So today, it's a very, very crucial topic we're going to be talking about. 5 ways pain transformed you into a powerhouse made for purpose. Hey, oh my goodness, the show can start. I just have to take a moment to acknowledge Miss Latrice Lucom, a powerful woman. I never get enough of just singing praises to you. Miss Latrice, she has homeschooled all of her children, and her oldest is actually in college, in uni or college, all raised and schooled by her. So she's an amazing, powerful woman. And one of the biggest things we have to do is we need to be women that lift each other women up, and we need to acknowledge where good is good and where strength is strength, right? So for what you have done, as always, I salute you and I welcome you to the live today. I'm just so excited to have you today. Today we're going to be talking about, I'm just excited, and feel free to jump in whenever you feel like you have something you want to say, because part of the live is bringing in your comments and saying it. Love you too. Saying exactly what you're saying, because it's an interactive live. But 5 ways, we're going to be talking about how 5 ways pain transformed you into a powerhouse made for purpose. Now, the first thing I want us to think about is the word powerhouse, right? So by definition, powerhouse is an area of great energy and strength. So the live today is going to talk about how pain, any type of pain, because we have different types of pain in our life. But the focus today, I'm here to uncover the powerhouse, the strength, the great energy that is in you. Because the biggest deception is not knowing how powerful you are. But people that have been through pain, and I say this over and over again, anyone that's been through any pain has stretched, has increased capacity. They have characteristics in them that are unique to them. And those characteristics that are grounded from the process they went into are the characteristics that set them apart from the people around them. And by uncovering how you became stronger, how you became more powerful and influential based on your capacity you built through pain, when you take that into your new season, you're able to reach levels other people will never reach because you've already been schooled. You've already been in the boot camp of life. And that's the purpose of what we're going to be discussing today. So purpose, when we talk about purpose is the reason you were born, right? But what happens with our purpose, it is dimmed down by pain. For us who've had different types of pain, I don't care if it's mental pain, I don't care if it's physical pain, I don't care if it's emotional pain, I don't care if it's physical, if it's spiritual pain, whatever it is, that pain kind of creates a veil where we are not able to get into our place of purpose. And we're not able to get into that sweet spot that we were created to operate in and influence the world. So once we uncover the mystery behind what pain, the pain that we've been through, once we're able to see it as what it is and uncover the strength that we got, we're able to look at our capacity and we go into our life every day, every month, every week with those tools that pain brought to us. So we're going to be really focusing on pain. My goal today is to help you understand the value of the pain that you've been through. And I'm going to be speaking about 5 ways that pain transformed you and made you powerful, how it transformed you into a powerhouse. We're going to be digging into that powerhouse. And the one of the first things I want to bring up today is we talk about diamonds, the making of a diamond. We talk about the purification process of gold from the time it's mined till the time people wear it on their fingers. We talk about the making of olive oil, from being an olive to the pressing, the crushing, to the oil that is so pure and that's coveted by many. We talk about emeralds, from being cultivated as just a basic mineral, right? And I'm from Zimbabwe, Africa, with a lot of minerals. It's just literally they're harvested as dirt. But when you see the finished product after the process, they are the most coveted minerals that we have out there that are so valuable. So that's what I'm going to be leading on today, is how we, through our pain, we're like the raw material. But when pain has had its work and when we are able to convert it into fuel, we come out the diamonds, we come out the emeralds, we come out the gold, we come out the olive oil. And that's what we take into the world and impact our families, our communities, our nations, and the world. And this is like pretty amazing, the whole process. So the first part I want to talk about is an olive oil starts with just a seed. And the first stage, I'm going to be talking about the first stages of the the 5 stages of the making of an olive oil, but they mirror the stages that pain puts us through to get us to that place of purity and influence and impact and strength, right? So the first part that we can all relate to, and in life, it is like a season that you go through. So the stages of the making of an olive oil equate the seasons that are in our life that we go through to get to that place of fine oil. So the first stage is the crushing process. The olive oils are put into the machine and they're crushed, right? So I looked up some of the definitions of crushing. It's compressing, it's forcefully being squeezed together, it's breaking up, it's pressing. So I want you to be able to look at your life at an area, a situation where pain entered your life and you felt that crushing, you felt that breaking, you felt that compression. And it's that place that most of us are helpless. It's that place where we feel the pain to our bones, but we don't know a way out. It's that place where we feel weak. It's that place where we feel overwhelmed. It's that place where we don't know why us, right? But the crushing process comes first. Now, remember, we talked about how to handle pain. It's perception. It's a mindset. So if I find myself in a season of crushing, my perception should not be, I am being crushed and I will not overcome. My perception to be, this is that first stage in the making of who I am destined to be, right? So once you change your perception and look at the crushing as a process, that is the first stage where you embrace that crushing. We're not saying we love it, but we're saying we can't run away from it. We have to go through. You're going to go through with a good attitude or a bad attitude. Am I right here? I mean, I'm just saying, whether we like it or not, the seasons in our life come. But our perception towards what we're looking at, that's the difference. So who you want to be, who you're destined to be, who God made you to be, only you know where you're going. So I ask you, what do you see? What do you see for yourself in a year? What do you see for yourself in 3 years? Who do you see you becoming in the next 5 years? So if you see yourself becoming that person, a person of impact, when you see yourself becoming that person of influence, when the crushing comes, you understand that the crushing is meant to give you that strength, to give you that preparation for that person of influence you're going to become, for that person of strength you're going to become. So the crushing is a part of the process. And thank you for joining. As you join, please don't hesitate to just say hi so that I can acknowledge you, because I honor you for finding time to be able to come on and join the live today. My name is Melody Kashumba, your Pain to Purpose Accelerator. I am based in the United States of America. I have a mandate to help women uncover the pain that has been in their life, to be able to identify it and stand on it, using it as fuel to get them to their next level. And today I'm just talking about the 5 ways pain transformed you into a powerhouse made for purpose. And I'm just going to go over the definitions because I see we have a couple of people that are joining. I want to welcome you today. This is a platform where we're all moving to higher levels. This is a platform that strengthens, ignites, and accelerates women. This is a platform that speaks life to women. This is a platform where we honor women. We're talking about how pain transformed you into a powerhouse. And I want, as we are doing the live today, it's important for you to see yourself in the story, right? So let's talk about a powerhouse. A powerhouse is great strength. It's energy. So how did pain make you such a strong person? How did pain make you a powerhouse of strength, a powerhouse of energy, a person of impact? Right? And the first thing we're talking about 5 stages of the making of the olive oil, because they mirror the seasons in our life where pain moves us from pain to purpose, right? So we talked about the crushing being the compression forcefully, the breakup, and the pressing. And this is the season we identify it, and we're like, oh my goodness, this is not good. This is pressing. My life is being tested. But when you have vision of who you know God made you to be, deep down, you know the influence you're supposed to have. Deep down, you know your potential. But sometimes we get so blinded. We get so blinded with people's voices, the circle we're around, that we don't see. We have a hard time moving from that place of pain to purpose. But look at the crushing as what's needed to get to that place of impact, to get to that stage where only you know God has destined for you to be. The second thing we're going to talk about, when we're making when olive oil is being made, they take the olives, they crush them, they become a paste. And then once they become a paste, it's not done yet. They've just broken up the olive oil. It's nowhere near to olive oil. So that season in your life where there's a breaking and shifting and you're like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Things are different. Moves you into the grinding season. Right? And the grinding season is where the olive oil has been crushed, but it's ground. It's now ground into a finer paste. So whatever pain is that comes into your life, it stays for a minute because it's grinding up and breaking up any areas of your life that need to be molded and transformed to the way you are destined to be, because there is no argument that you were destined for greatness. There is no argument that you have purpose in this life. There is no argument that there are places you're supposed to be, people you're supposed to influence. But the question is, how do we get from the place of pain to the place of impact, right? So the grinding, I looked up some of the words that mirror grinding. It's overpowering. Pain that comes, we get into a stage where the pain overpowers us, where it's uncomfortable, where you feel overwhelmed. We can't leave the season of pain. We feel overwhelmed. We feel overpowered. That's the grinding season of pain. But remember, everything that comes into our life is meant to work things in us, to align us for that next season. So for those that have just joined us, we're talking about the 5 ways pain transformed you into a powerhouse made for purpose. We talked about a powerhouse being a place of great strength. We talked about powerhouse being a place of great energy. People that have been through pain have had their capacity stretched because pain is difficult. However, with that stretching, they developed a potential to go to levels that no one else can go to that has not been through pain. So when we're talking about today, we're trying to uncover the powerhouse that's in you that was a result of pain. And I'm Melody, a Pain to Purpose accelerator with a mandate to accelerate you from a place of pain to a place of impact and influence by uncovering the pain that's in your life, but helping you reshape how you look at that pain and converting that pain into fuel to move you into purpose. So we talked about the crushing stage. We talked about the grinding stage because we're talking about how olive oil is made. And olive oil is made in 5 stages. On those are the stages that pain puts us through to get us to that fine wine, to get us to that place of impact. Please don't hesitate to say hi. I see we have a lot of people joining, but just say hi so I can acknowledge you. And if you want to add, please add to the conversation, because I'm here to serve you as well as us grow together. So after the grinding stage of the olive oil, this paste is ground, right? So we know it gets some of the finer areas, finer bits of that paste. We move into the 3rd stage. The paste, that's a result from the olive oil. We get to the blending stage. Now, we're all women here, and I'm sure we have some men, but as women, we all know what a blender does. A blender has several speeds. Now think about it. It has several speeds that take us from just grinding until liquefaction, until you can't even see how it all started. So when you get to the blending stage of the making of an olive oil, there's mixing and combining things together. And some of the words, the synonyms that go with blending are mingling, fusing, uniting, integrating. And this is the place I want to stay right here, because we talk about pain transforming us. We talk about going through pain in one way and coming out a transformed person. So when we talk about the blending stage, this is the stage where the old you is blended and the new you begins to evolve. This is the place where you're in pain, but you're finding new flickers of energy and strength, and you're getting back on your feet, and you're finding you have new strength that you didn't know you had. This is the place where you're beginning to realize that, you know what? I know I'm in pain. I know this situation is painful, but there's got to be light at the end of the tunnel. This is the blending stage. It's the fusing together of the old you and the new you. That's the blending stage. So when they make olive oil, they get to the blending stage where they blend that paste and it fuses the paste together. The newness of the oil and the old paste begin to fuse, and it begins to be liquefied. What in your life have you gone through that you reached a stage, it was heat at first where it was like, this is painful. But you got to that stage where you just woke up and you were taking a turn and you just felt a new wave of strength and newfound energy, and you felt like you were now coping. You felt like you could actually withstand whatever was going on. That's the blending stage. That is the season where the old you, new you begins to be blended and fused together. New characteristics you never knew you had begin to evolve. For me, it was great faith. Right? It was the knowing that there's light at the end of the tunnel. I'm going to get out of this. There's light at the end of the tunnel. I have strength. I have perseverance. I have hope. It's where you begin to see the light. You begin to see it so shine. That's the stage where things begin to make sense. But you may not understand, or you may not understand it all. But you're like, okay, this pain is in my life, but I got it figured out. Now I understand how I can react, right? These are the people, let's say an example is people that come into your life and they cause you a lot of heartache and they cause you a lot of torment. Like my story is of being in abusive relationships, right? Intimate partner abuse. And I got to a point where whatever was being said didn't really affect me anymore, because I now knew that I was better than that. I now knew that I was royalty. I knew I was destined for greatness. I knew I was evolving, and I was now making that decision to say this does not serve me, because I need to align myself with people that are positioned in the place where I'm going. Right? So that's that blending stage. We cannot despise the process of the pain. We may not like the process pain takes us through. However, that process of pain is the refining needed for levels you've never seen before. It's the refining needed to position you for that vision that you have. It's that refining stage that's needed to move you, because most people won't make it. Not everyone will make it through these stages. That's where some people get left behind, because not everyone makes it through these stages. So as we talk today, I just want you to be able to reflect on your life and the areas that you felt were really painful seasons. Reflect on those painful seasons and look at the shifts that came as a result of those seasons, right? Thank you for joining. I see we have more people joining. Please don't hesitate to just say hi so I can acknowledge you, because I honor you for finding time to join. And I'm Melody, your Pain to Purpose Accelerator, with a Monday to help women stand on their pain and move from a place of pain to a place of purpose, right? So now that we're at that stage, we talked about the blending stage. We're talking today about how the 5 ways that pain transformed you into a powerhouse made for purpose. So let me go back on the word powerhouse. Great energy, great strength. So think about it. If you have gone through the crushing, the grinding, the blending, how much strength have you had to endure the seasons that came to break you? Let's begin to talk about how much potential you have. How much capacity, strength did you have? How much capacity did you have to stretch, to be able to contain the season of pain that was in your life? That was the powerhouse that was in the making. That's the powerhouse. That's the great energy. That's the great strength. Where when somebody tells you something that's against what you know you were born to be, that when somebody tries to discourage you and tell you who you are not, it's that powerhouse that you're able to draw on and say, I have great strength. I have great energy. I am a powerhouse. So if you tell me I'm not beautiful, sorry, but I know I'm beautiful. Guess what? Because during the time of stretching and the crushing and the grinding and the blending, I learned to understand who I was, because I went through the stages of that pain process. Somewhere when I hit rock bottom, I stood up and I said, I'm beautiful. I said, I am royalty. I said, I was made for more. I said, I was destined for greatness. I got to a point where I began to encourage myself, because I was in that grinding stage. I was in that blending stage, right? And for me, I was grounded in Christ, right? Because I knew God was my strength. So I just held on tight to him, and I began to speak life to myself as I was rising. Because what happens with pain will beat you to a pulp if you let it. We may at times, no matter what you do, it will still beat you down to a pulp. But the decision to look at the pain as fuel, look at the pain as what's meant to propel you. The decision to be bit to a pulp, but to put that first foot up, and now I'm kneeling, is to get up. It's a decision, right? And grounded in Christ, I was able to stand. I was able to change my mindset and say, you know what, pain, you're not going to take me out. Until I was on my knees, until I was one knee up, both knees up, standing tall, walking in that place of purpose, right? But when you stand up and you rise up from that crushing, when you rise up from that the grinding, when you rise up from that blending process of pain, it's a different sheriff in town at that point. Because you know the strength that you had. It took strength to get you from the place of blending from the place of grinding, from the place of crushing. It took great strength. So by the time you're standing tall, you understand your value. No one can devalue you. So when you go into your life, it is like you're building your personal brand, right? Who I was when I went into the pain is not who I am coming out of the pain. Who I was going into the pain weak, who I was going into the pain feeling I'm giving up, who I was going into the pain feeling like I was helpless. When I go through the pain and I endure the crushing, I'm in it because I can't walk away from it. I have a mindset that this crushing is meant to bring the best out of me. It's meant to position me. And then the grinding is meant to grind those things, the old things and the new things. And then the blending is meant to blend the old that's leaving and the new that's coming. When you start rising up and you stand tall, and when you start transforming and coming out of that pain, it is a new season for you. You are able to do things you never thought you could do. You're building your personal brand. So when we go into the pain, we are not sure of who we are. But pain has a way of taking us places that would never have gone on our own. And pain has a way of transforming you and introducing you to the highest brand who is you. The person you never thought you were. Pain has a way of introducing you to yourself. So the next thing we're going to talk about, and I'll just introduce myself because I see a couple of people are joining. As you come in, just say hi so I can acknowledge you. I honor you for finding time on this Sunday afternoon where we can come and we can just share and we can serve each other. The goal of this platform is to encourage each other, is to help you to be able to uncover the highest version of yourself by standing on your pain. I am a Pain to Purpose accelerator. I help women stand on their pain and use their pain as fuel. Literally, use the pain as fuel, not using the pain, looking at the pain as a form of weakness. But we have to change our perception. And I've done a couple of lives about perception and mindset. It's important to have a mindset of victory. And while we're talking about mindset, I just want to ask you, because this is a question to you. It's like food for thought. Who do you see when you look at yourself in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Who do you see? I'm not talking about what society has told you are. I'm not talking about who your inner circle has told you are. I'm talking about when you see yourself, that vision that you've had of yourself, who do you see? That person that you see, that person that God has shown you are. What's standing between you and that is the pain that's going to come to challenge you, to perfect you, to get you ready to walk in that. So the quickly we recognize where we're going, and the more we stop fighting our process, the more we activate that perception, the more we change our perception and say, okay, time for me to grind because I'm going to be that next woman of influence. The quicker we get in line with that vision, the quicker we get to that place of impact, the quicker we get to that place of purpose. So that's where we're going. And so I'm excited. I'm really excited for the women of this generation because pain has so much hidden who we are. And now we're uncovering who we are. We're uncovering pain for what it is. Pain came as a distraction. Pain came to hide who you were really meant to be. But we're going into a season where women are beginning to rise up. Women are rising up to understand that where they are, who they know, their vision that they have of themselves is attainable. And women are beginning to realize that if you're not for me, then I don't need to go with you where God says I'm going. That's fine. I don't hate you. I don't despise you. However, if you don't align with the vision God has given me, if you're not an encourager, if you're not supportive to me, if you're not an inner circle I can confide in, if you're not somebody who'll stand up for me when I'm not there, then you don't align with the vision God has for me. If you're not building me, then you don't align with the vision God has for me. So women are beginning to rise up to understand their value. And as women begin to understand their value, they begin to make sure that they begin to uncover the momentum that they need to go to that next level. Women are beginning to access the tools that are needed to tear down when people are talking down on you, to be able to say, you know what? That is your perception about who I am, but I know who God says I am. So if I know God says I'm beautiful, if I know God says I'm destined for greatness, it is not important what your opinion is. We don't go through life trying to offend people. However, we don't have to sit there and have people offend us, because that slows you down. When you're around a circle of women that you're telling them, this is my vision for myself, and they say, well, do you think you can do that? That slows you down. What you need around you is women where you can say, hey, ladies, this is the vision I have for myself. This is the vision God has shown me about myself. This is where I'm going. You need women around you who can say, let's go. What do you need me to do to help? You need women who can support. The same is true for you as a woman. You have to be that woman who another woman says, you know what? This is the vision God has for me. It's to say, how can I support? What do you need me to do? We got to be women. We're moving into a season where women are lifting each other up. It is no longer in fashion to put a woman down. I just love that. That just ministered to me on its own. It is no longer in season to put another woman down. It is a season of lifting each other up. It is a season of speaking life into each other. And what happens is when we do that, we become a community of women that are going places. We become a community of women, visionaries. We become a community of women that are soaring to heights like never before. This is a season where women are rising into a highest version of themselves. And pain no longer holds us down. Pain no longer holds us down. So the next step, we're going through the 5 stages of the making of olive oil, because those stages mirror how olive oil is made, mirror the seasons that pain takes us through. And I'm so excited. I'm excited for the women of this season, because no longer will pain keep us down. So the first stage we talked about because we're talking about the 5 ways pain transformed you into a powerhouse made for purpose. How are you a powerhouse made for purpose? Powerhouse meaning a reservoir of energy, a woman of great strength, a woman of great impact. That's the powerhouse that's in you. How did pain transform you into a powerhouse, into a woman of strength and capacity? The first thing is you were crushed, but you were not defeated. In that crushing, Pain left you feeling compressed, but in that crushing, you found strength that you didn't even know you had. Then you went through the grinding, and this was where the pain was heavy. It was overpowering. You didn't think you'd make it, but when you came out of it, you came out knowing, having reached places you'd never been. You came out having found out things you didn't know about yourself. And then you went into the blending. The blending is like a blender where the old you, new you begins to be blended together. When you came out of that blending, the old new you were fused together. You began to see flickers of light that you didn't know you had. You began to see your perception had changed. Your mindset had changed. You began to tolerate, your tolerance level changed. Blending will change your tolerance level, right? When old you, new you is beginning to evolve, your tolerance level towards things that do not honor you begins to change. You begin to actually realize that, okay, this is not, what you're speaking does not align with where I'm going. That's what the blending stage will do. You begin to speak up for yourself. You begin, and not in a disrespectful way, but you begin to speak up for yourself to say, I know I'm destined for greatness. Why is this person telling me I am not worthy? I am worthy, right? I am royalty. And the next stage, the next step, the fourth step is when we're making olive oil, there's the crushing, then there's the grinding, then there's the blending, then there's the after the blending, the beads of pure oil. During the blending, when you have that liquefying, it's liquefying in the blender. Small beads of clear olive oil begin to bubble to the surface. This is the stage in your life where when you're coming out of the pain, the new you begins to overpower the old weak you, right? This is the place where the newfound strength can really begins. You begin to see times where you speak out and you're like, oh my God, was that just me? Right? You begin to do things with ease. Some things that used to be so hard, you begin to do them with ease. That's the part where you're in the blending process and the beads of olive oil, the new olive oil, begin to come to the surface. I encourage you to think about that pain in your life that you went through or that you're going through. Think about that when you got to a season during the pain where you began to see the light, where you began to see the different perception, where things didn't bother you as much anymore. That's where the old you is literally falling away and the new you is making room for that next season. See, pain does not come to destroy us. It's a misconception that pain comes to destroy us. Pain comes to prepare us for the place where you're meant to be. So the greater pain you've been through, my story is a story of, I was raised in poverty. I did not even think I would make it to America. But you know what? I had great faith. But with that great faith was a lot of adversity because I had to overcome so much to get to where I am. So the greater the purpose you have in life, the greater the adversity. However, the greater the adversity, the greater your powerhouse, the greater your capacity, the greater the stretching, the greater the influence, because it prepares you for where you're going. The greater you're able to sustain. And that's the thing. Where you're going, you're able to sustain it because you've been prepared for it. That person that you're becoming, you're able to sustain it because you've been prepared for it, right? So that's the beads, where the beads of pure oil begin to rise. Now, that's the place where you begin to feel that little fire inside, where you become passionate about stuff. For me, I became passionate about women who've been abused. I became passionate about people overcoming poverty, right? I became passionate about people that have been bullied because I've been bullied. I became passionate about people that have had society look at them, because when you go through poverty, society looks down upon you. I became passionate about those people. Who's me? I became passionate about the helpless. because I was once helpless, right? So that fire begins to evolve when you're in that place where, like olive oil, when it's in the blender, the little spurts of olive oil, pure oil, begin to come up. That's the place where, when you're going through pain and you've been through the crushing, the grinding, the blending, that new oil begins to bubble to the surface. That's that place where you find that new light coming forth. That's that place where you begin to know that you were made for more. That's that place where you become passionate about stuff you're not passionate about, because you've transformed. You're being transformed into this new person that is tied to the purpose which the purpose is the reason you were born, right? You've developed. That's that place you begin to see the fruits of overcoming pain. For me, it was patience. I began to see, I'm a little bit more patient now, right? It was that place that I began to see. I began to feel endurance. I began to feel like, okay, I can endure more, right? So the last stage that we're going to talk about is the last stage of the making of the olive oil. And this is like my favorite stage of them all, right? And let's remember that the crushing, the grinding, the blending, the area where the stage where the sparks of oil that come to the surface, those are seasons in your life where pain processed you. Those are seasons in your life where pain processed you, right? So yes, these are stages to the making of olive oil, which is fine, pure, coveted oil. But those stages are the seasons in your life where pain made you. So as we're going through this, I just want you to look back into the seasons of your life that you thought broke you. We're going to go back to uncover. The purpose of this is to uncover. We want to change that. We want you to go back. I would like you to go back into that place, that pain that crushed you, and begin to see what you got as a result of that season. That season where I was told I was nothing. That was a crushing season. That was a blending season. That was a grinding season. But out of that season, I began to know who I was. I would never know who I was. I would never know the potential I had it not been for that season where I was told I was nothing. Daily, I was told I was nothing. That's my pain. For you, it may be a different pain. When you did something and you were told it wasn't good enough. That's another thing. That's another type of pain. When you do something and you're told you're not good enough, but you went through it and you endured it. You went through the crushing, the grinding. You went through the blending. And then you begin to understand that, no, I am good enough. And then the oil began to come up where you actually had the proof to see that I am good enough. I am good enough. And you got to that place where nobody can tell you you're not good enough. But had you not gone through that pain, you would not have been able to realize that, yes, you are good enough. You are good enough. But the pain helped you go through the stages where good enough became your new normal. That ministered to me, right? You went through the pain. Well, the enemy, the devil tries to tell us we are something that we're not. So pain comes to reveal the truth behind that counterfeit. Pain comes to reveal the truth behind that counterfeit, right? So the season where you're told you're not good enough debunked that myth that you went through the stages where you found out for yourself that you were good enough. Not only were you good enough, but you were more than enough, right? That's what pain does for us. So the last stage in the making of olive oil, which is my favorite stage. Welcome, welcome. I am so excited that you're able to join. Please don't hesitate to say hi so I can acknowledge you because it's an honor for you to be able to take time out of your day so we can come and we can talk. Oh my God, we have India in the house. Akash Thakur, Mr. Invincible. So we have Miss Latrice Lookum, our powerful homeschool mom. I mean, and behind that homeschooling, and I have to just take a moment because it is part of my ministry to have people understand the power behind women, behind not only women, but everyone. But I just have to take a moment to acknowledge the people that are on this live right now and the power in which they walk in the life that we are. Miss Latrice Lookum, she is a mom. She is a mom, and she has beautiful children, sons and daughters, very respectful, raised them all, her and her husband, Keith, and she homeschooled all her children, and she's still homeschooling to this day. She even has given me advice on how to homeschool when I was thinking about homeschooling my children. Powerful woman, and also works too. So in homeschooling also works. It takes a certain level of commitment and grace and power to be able to walk in the shoes she walks in. So I honor you, and I will never get tired of honoring you. And there's more to her than just that, because I know she's also an entrepreneur. She has a travel business, and she's an entrepreneur. And those are some of the things that pain will kind of try to block us from birthing, those things that are in us. But she is walking in it. And I know in talking to her, that was not her only business. There have been several businesses she's had in the past, based on that calling upon her life. So I just want to honor you. And Akesh Thakur, a very talented man from all the way from India. He's very supportive to my business and my brand. And I just have to honor you, because half of the things I am doing, I would not be able to do them if it wasn't for you. So I just want to honor you. He is very talented. If anyone wants to connect with him, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, because most of the things that I'm doing right now, most of the things that I'm walking in, is because I have people like Akesh on my team as Graceful Acceleration, which is the business that I own. So I honor you, Akesh Thakur, and he's making impact and waves in the things, in the areas that he's in. So I honor you, and I know he can also relate to pain to purpose, right? Moving from pain to purpose. So moving on, the fifth one is vigorously. Now with that olive oil, vigorously, what we do is vigorously stir the larger beads, right? Vigorously, the olive oil is in its container, and vigorously, the last stage is to stir that olive oil, right? It's vigorously stirred. Now, as they vigorously stir that olive oil, the larger bubbles of olive oil come to the top. They kind of come and they are surfaced to the top, right? So the last stage is when the making of olive oil, the larger beads are stirred up to the top. They are stirred up to the top, and the new wine, the new you, is what is revealed, right? It's what is revealed. The new you is what is revealed. And that's the old you leaves and the new you now emerges. The old you leaves and the new you now emerges. So the process of pain is the crushing, the grinding, the blending. Then the beads, the smaller beads come up, and then the larger bubbles then come up. Right? And the larger bubbles that come up, that's who you are. That's who you were meant to be. That's who you're meant to be. That's the impact that you have. The bubbles come up, and the new you emerges. The transformed you emerges. The transformed you emerges. So part of this live was meant to introduce you to the powerhouse, which is the great energy, which is the great strength that is in you. That was a result of the process of the pain that you went through, right? The process that you went through. The process that you went through brought the fine olive oil to the surface. That fine olive oil that came to the surface is the new you that transformed you, the powerful you. The powerful you. You are destined for greatness. Your process brought about the powerful you. Your process brought about the powerhouse. The process was the process that you went through, the stages of pain, the crushing, the grinding, the blending, the beads, the vigorous stirring of the oil came to be as a result of who you, came to be as a result of your process. As a result of your process. So the pain is not meant to kill us. It's not meant to destroy us. The pain is meant to grow us into impact. It's meant to grow us into become the higher version of ourselves. Right? It's meant to grow us like never before. So my purpose today is to help you to realize that the pain that comes into your life, it's transforming you into a powerhouse made for purpose. And the purpose that you've been transformed for, the purpose that you've been transformed for is the reason you were born. So the transformation may not be comfortable, but the transformation is tied to the purpose, the reason you were born, the reason you are here. It's tied to that. So when the pain comes, we need to change our perception towards the pain. We need to change our perception towards the pain. The pain will come in 5 stages, 5 seasons: crushing, grinding, blending, beads of pure oil, vigorously stirring of the larger beads. The larger beads become the pure olive oil. The pure olive oil is who you were destined to be. That's that person of impact. That's that person who's going places. So as I finish, what I want to ask you today is your vision. What has God shown you is who you are destined to be? Who has God shown you to be? Who has God said you are? Because who God said you are, the vision you have of yourself, where you are going, the vision you have of yourself and where you're going, that place of impact that you know you're going, that's the truth that you need to focus on. So when the pain comes, when the crushing comes, when the grinding comes, when the blending comes, when the beads of pure oil comes, when the vigorous stirring comes, that's okay. Because I know what God has shown me to be. I know who God has said I'm going to be. I know who God has said I'm going to be. Right? I know the place I'm going. I have seen the vision. So my question to you is, what do you see when you look at your life? Who do you see? Who do you see what do you see about where you're going? What do you see? And pain is going to be a part of the process that's taking you to what you see. Pain is going to be part of the process. So I just want to thank you for joining me. This has been an exciting life for me because it's a topic that I am passionate about. I am passionate about helping women uncover the powerhouse that is within them. I am passionate about that. And my goal is to serve you. My goal is to help you understand the place of position and the impact that you were destined for greatness. My name is Melody Kashumba. I am a Pain to Purpose accelerator. I serve women that are tired of perpetual cycles of pain and are ready to go into that place of influence and impact. And I am here to serve you. My purpose and my mandate is to help women uncover that greatness that's within and to stir up that fuel that's within them. That fuel that's within them. That's the reason. That's my purpose. So if you don't have any questions, I'll wait and ask and see if you have any questions or if you want to add anything. That's awesome, and I can definitely answer back. And if you would like to inbox me and DM me, that's perfectly fine too. But I'll just wait and hang and see if you have any questions. But I just feel so honored, and for all those that joined today, I just want to say thank you, and I just honor you. I just honor the grace upon your life, and I just honor you for taking this time where we can come together and we can grow. So I wish you a blessed, happy Mother's Day. That should have been the first thing that I said, honoring women today. Happy Mother's Day. Have a blessed Sunday.